Hello everyone. My name is Shreyan and welcome to my channel wherein I review different perfumes from around the world. And in my first video, when I reviewed this Heritage Black by Legend 1942, I said something to the tune of that fragrance, that is Heritage Black, being a well-rounded of version of Sherwood's Inexplicable. This one. So I believe there are a couple of reasons why this needs to be reviewed separately. First of all, I've tried this after a very long time. I'm smelling this after 3 years. This feels rather distinct in its character rather than being a perfume anyone can clone, because it's tough. One needs to know a lot about perfumery before creating a fragrance such as this one, and this is what I call a work of art. And this brings me to the second point, that I was rather unkind to Inexplicable by comparing it with Heritage Black, because as I tried this one, I found myself falling in love with this over again. Now consider this: if you are into paintings, you would first come across names like Salvador Dali, Vincent van Gogh. All right. Then you'd learn more and you'd come across the likes of Claude Monet, Henri Matisse, and so on. Gradually, you'd be more interested about art history, art movements. You'd learn about the Dadaist movement, Marcel Duchamp, or the Surrealist Joan Miro, or Abanindranath Tagore and his Bengal movement, and so on and so forth. Now, this entire process of gaining knowledge in your art field continues, and you gradually would find yourself hopping from museum to museum, finding different art pieces and knowing who the artist behind it were, what was his life like, what did he stand for. And then you would come across examples like, let's say, Wilhelm Hammershøi, KCS Panikar, Binod Bihari Mukherjee, Pierre Bonnard, names like them. So gradually, after learning so much of art history, you can consider yourself above the typical lightweights. Even if you don't have a degree, you would have a lot of knowledge. That's why you would probably be in the company of like-minded people. You would love to learn about more things related to art. You would come in contact with scholars. Now, scholars are someone from whom you would gain knowledge, and then you'd probably learn some names which even I don't know. I had to ask ChatGPT about certain names like Antonio Donghi or Ivan Albright. From here onwards, you develop a heightened sense of looking at art critically, since you have traveled to the bottom of the ocean. Ordinary people might look at the meadows, the forest, the different color palettes, and they would think, oh wow, what wonderful picture it is. And then you would say, no, I don't hold this in high regards because of your dash 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 reasons. And we have to honor your opinion, because you have known so much regarding the topic, because and your opinion actually holds a certain weight. This one, this is what I'd consider a gateway into the bottom of the ocean when it comes to the world of perfumery. For example, you try your fragrance journey with ordinary deodorants available at drugstores and grocery stores. Then you try designer brands. You try clone of those designer brands. Then you get into the indie territory, niche houses, and the perfumes which have, let's say, materials which are banned by the IFRA. And then there are houses like these somewhere in the middle of the forests of your fragrance journey. Sherwood Inexplicable. Now, there might be people who would say, but Shreyan, aren't there thousands of indie brands? There are thousands of indie brands out there, and not all of them are, you know, creating clones. They are also creating their original perfumes. And it's true, they would be right, but this is what defines the art of perfumery in its most expressive way. Now look at its rich color, the reddish brown color. Obviously, it has macerated a lot. It was less reddish earlier on, and the oil composition, which is which leaves this yellow stain on the pipe. Now, according to the sniff test, which is a fragrance database, the number of notes or smell descriptors, which is the actual research terminology, is roughly around 1180 to 1200. Now, when you consider the raw material, they are around again 2000 to 3000. So, odor facets can be unlimited. There's woody, there's creamy, slightly creamy, powdery, leathery. So, whatever perfumes you have tried, you can chart them on a mathematical level. Besides, the fragrance market is actually ripe with clones. Even when a rare perfume is discovered, it would fill the part of the graph which was earlier unoccupied, and its competitors would eventually find a similar spot in due course. So that's how limited our olfactory experiences are. But then there are perfumes like these challenge our notions of what actually pleases our nose. Now this one, the Inexplicable by Sherwood Perfumes, it is filled with notes. The top notes are clove, geranium, cardamom, Kashmiri saffron, nutmeg, and pink pepper, while the heart notes are cinnamon, damask rose, jasmine tambac, tobacco, tonka bean, and ambergris. The base notes are birch, frankincense, leather, onycha. Remember this, onycha, sandalwood, and vanilla. And this onycha bit is interesting because it's an ancient perfume note that is derived from the shell of marine mollusks. Its odor is animalistic, woody, smoky. But apart from that, the other notes, that is saffron, damask rose, and tobacco, do tell you that this is not going to be an ordinary perfume. It would be smoky, animalic, much like other rare perfumes. But this is where things get a bit more complex. So the color of the painting does not tell you whether it belongs to an art museum or whether it belongs to, let's say, your local drawing competition. Likewise, two perfumes can have similar notes, yet they can smell entirely different. Uh, all of it is based on the composition, the manner in which it's blended, the time it takes to macerate before it hits the market, and so on and so forth. Now, one can smell these perfumes and say that, oh, one of them belongs squarely in the luxury line, and the other one, it's more niche variety, more artistic in nature. So that's that. And the opening of this perfume, I've smelled it right now, as you can see in my hand. The opening of this perfume is spicy in its nature, yet it's very well rounded off with the notes of cardamom and saffron. All of it acts together. And the heart notes then prop up in the next couple of minutes, and then you'd find yourself in this journey of damask rose and tobacco. Both of these notes are pretty apparent. And then as it eventually dries down, you'd find the leather accords, the fleeting vanilla, and the sillage of sandalwood, all packed up in a mysterious enigma. And there lies the art of this fragrance. The vanilla in its fragrance never feels sweet. It accentuates the other notes, which are more animalistic, and kind of paves way for a more palatable version of these notes. So, Inexplicable belongs to a standard of scents that isn't there to impress anyone. Rather, if you aren't impressed, it shows your lack of appreciation for the art of perfumery. And earlier I spoke about the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean doesn't get all the light. It's dark. It's out of the comfort zone. It's full of pressure. But overall, it does have its fair share of fascination. Therein lies its beauty. So, this is one of the perfumes that every perfumer must come across and try as they get more and more indulged into this hobby. And the perfume enthusiast may not like it instantly, but when he does, when he or she does, he or she would look back and tell the casual perfume enthusiasts where they might have gone wrong if they ever discounted this one. And lastly, I would say there is a world of perfumes beyond bestsellers, beyond these top 10 lists, beyond, you know, attention grabbing compliments and so on. Inexplicable lies there. So do let me know your opinion in the comments. And as always, thanks for your precious time.